Okay, in my last video, I showed some information about how my life and a woman's life are being used in a trashy sex story, and how the whole world is a massive artistic, mathematical, and linguistic cryptic story. All right? I'm just going to quickly go over one little bit of information that we went through before in case nobody else wants to watch, in this case nobody wants to watch the other video. But anyway, there's this place here called the Kaaba, or the Dome on the Rock, or the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and down here is the Kaaba in Mecca. If you measure between these, the angle is 157 degrees and the distance is 767.28 miles, or 666 nautical miles. All right? Basically, on a clock, 157 degrees, it points to the 5-hour mark, but it's at the 26-minute mark. So it's the letters EZ, which is the initials for a woman named Erin Z. All right, and 76728 is basically my birth date. All right. Now, if you look at this, it's all a trashy sex story. This is supposed to be kind of like the outlines of a vagina. Like you have a bit of the clitoris here, and then the lips, and a slit in the fucking middle. All right? And if you zoom out on this, I'll show you how it's a trashy sex story. It's supposed to be about me and this woman named Erin Z. We're two white people in Canada. All right? Now, if you look at this, obviously, what you have is a set of balls, like testicles. You know, and then balls deep into the fucking vagina. All right, so it's a trashy freaking sex story. But anyway, the other video touches on some other parts of the world design. All right. So anyway, here's another part I was going to show you. If you take those numbers of the distance, which is 76, 7, and 28, you can draw it as an isosceles triangle. Like you just fade out one line of the triangle, and the degrees are 76 degrees and 28 degrees. Then you throw in the 666 for the nautical miles as the one side, and then this top side becomes 322, which is my initials, CBB, which is Chris BB. And I'll quickly freaking show you here. I showed you in my last freaking video, but I'll show you again in case you don't want to go to the other video. Here's my driver's license, Christopher BB, CBB, born 76 July 28th. Now, it was issued on April 24th, which is 424. If you take the digits 424 and you express those as minutes, it's actually 7 hours and 4 minutes, which is 7:04, where 7 is the letter G and 4 is the letter D for God, for God. All right? And here's my fucking birth certificate. It shows the same information, Chris BB, July 28th, 1976, or 76728. All right, so this is about me and this freaking woman. And they actually introduced me to her at one point. And she said her name was Erin freaking Z. All right, and she said she was born in 1987-8. And one of the first things I realized is that my birthday, like if you take the first 3 digits of my birthday, 767, and then you make that 7 hours and 67 minutes, it's actually 8 hours and 7 minutes for an 87. So you can convert 767 into 87. So 76728 is as 8728, which is freaking her birth date. All right? But anyway, I was put into this relationship as part of some trashy freaking story. I was put with a woman named Elisa, which backwards is asshole. All right? Like asshole, pronounced sort of like asshole. All right. Now, from what I've perceived, the equinoxes are 320 and 923, or at least they were last year. All right. Now, +2 or too late from that is 322. All right. And the opposite of too late is too soon, and too soon from 923 is 921, which is my son's birth date. The date between those equinoxes is approximately 621, which is the letters FU. All right, so you add in Elisa. So there's me, there's the son, and the mother, Elisa, was born 311, which is the letter CK. So you get CBB, fuck Elisa, and you get 921, the son. All right, you can express this freaking relationship in another way as well, which is with a cube. Because remember, the Kaaba is a giant cube. All right. So basically what you get here is you get a three sides, creating a three-dimensional drawing. And then to make that a full cube with the freaking, like a transparent freaking cube, you would add in another one side that's a two-dimensional drawing, another one side which is two-dimensional. So you get her birth date, 3/11, and CBB equals 921, which is a cube that has an I and an X, or an X and an I. All right. Now in Latin, which is what the old Romans used to use, I and X are the 9th and the 21st letters of the alphabet, which is the sun's birth date. All right. But in Roman numerals, that's the fraction 9 and 11. All right. And that equals 0.81 repeating forever, which is the letters HA. So you get ha 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 forever, or all ha's, like Allah or Allah. All right. So that's why the Kaaba is a gigantic freaking cube in Mecca. All right. Now there's another thing that has to do with the number pi in all of this. Just one part of the pi part is that you take my birth date, that's me, all right, and the letters me are 13 and 5, so 135, and you go backwards 135 days, then the date is pi, 314. So the date between pi and my birth date is 135 days. If you take the number pi and then you cube it, square it, and square it for my initials, then multiply it by my birth date, 76728, then you get 7.04, and then E13 or whatever, which is scientific notation. Now that's the letters G, O, and D for God. All right. 13 is the letter M, and if you compress the letters R, I, and N together, EM is actually Aaron, which is the woman Aaron Z. So basically you got all these fucking deranged freaking mathematical, geometrical, and artistic freaking patterns that are about myself and some woman named Aaron Zimmer. And it's all some sort of like massive, trashy, scummy freaking sex story.